So if you see a question about transformations for quadratic functions, you could see on the EOC, you could see a question like this: y equals x plus 5 squared, in parentheses plus 3, and it says describe the transformations from y equals x squared. So what you do in Desmos, graph y equals x squared, and then graph the equation they give you. So if I'm typing this right. And then just describe how the vertex moves. So from 0, 0 to negative 5, 3, it went, I like to always zoom in so I see counting by ones. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So this vertex went from 0, 0 to negative 5, 3. So from the red to the blue graph, it went left 5 and up 3. And so that's what this question is asking, left 5, up 3. The next one was negative 2 x squared. So the red to the blue graph, it flips over the x-axis. That's what the negative in the front does. It'll reflect it over the x-axis. It flips it down. So instead of going up, it's now going down. That's a reflection of the x-axis. What's hard in this one is to see that it's skinnier. It's more narrow. It's easier to see if I zoom out a little bit. Oof, not that easy. But it's skinnier. It's not as wide. Wait. Opposite. The blue one's skinny. So it's more narrow. So the description here is it reflects over the x-axis. Will be the like technical term, but that's just saying it flips down over the x-axis. It's more narrow, so that's actually the vertical stretch. And if you think about it, vertical stretch, I always use my hair dryer because I always have one. It's just pulling it thinner, vertically pulling it thinner. If it was horizontal, it'd be stretching it this way. But they always just ask vertically. And then what will the minus 4 do? Well, the minus 4 moved it which way? To the right. Right 4. Yeah. The next one, 1/3 x plus 1, 1/3 plus 1 minus 4 plus 1. So each number does something to your original graph. The 1/3, you can see, if I just have the 1/3, what does the 1/3 do? From red to blue. Makes it wider. So that's a vertical, makes it wider, compression. So it's a vertical compression. Vertical compression. And then the 1, so I add to it on the inside. And you can take it step by step because each number does something different. So adding 1 moved it 1 unit left. And then minus 4 at the end, what do you think that's going to do? Yeah, moved it down 4. So from 0, 0, I want left 1 and down 4. So that's the easier one is going from the equation and telling me the transformation. The harder part of this is going from the transformation and writing your equation. And that's because you just have to know where all your numbers go. You can always check your answer. Since EOC is a lot of multiple choice, you can graph your answer choices and see if it did the right transformation. So if I'm trying to go 3 units to the right and up 2, 3 units to the right and up 2. So you're starting with your parent function because it says 2x squared. I want to go 3 units to the right and up 2. If you're not sure, you can just see where do I put 3? Well, that didn't move my graph up. Right 3. So then you try inside. That moved it left. We don't want to move it left. That moved it up. So it's inside. But instead of plus 3, it's minus 3. So minus 3 moved it to the right 3. Yeah, well, that's what you think, and that's a great thing to notice. With inside your parentheses, it's the opposite of what you think. So if you put the number in front, A, if A will be a vertical stretch or vertical compression. That's where you put that number in front of your parentheses. Inside your parentheses, since it's a negative in the equation, if I plug a negative in, that's going to make it look positive, even though it was a negative. So if H is positive up here, it actually moves left, which is opposite of what you think. And if H is negative, it actually moves to the right. So negative is right inside your parentheses. I always think if you're inside a building, you can only move left to right. If you're outside, nothing's stopping you, you can move up and down. And up and down is exactly what you think it would be. Up is positive, down is negative. So inside my parentheses, to move right, I had to do negative 3. And then I'm going up 2, up 2, positive 2. So I took this red graph, I moved right 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 2. So that's your equation. And hopefully they'll give you a multiple choice question on this to make it a little bit easier, but sometimes they won't. So I want you to be able to figure out how to get there. So y equals x squared. So inside is left and right. So that's 3, opposite of what you think. Right is negative, left is positive. Outside is up and down, exactly how you think. So up 2. I usually write it all out. If I was the one who taught you this, I always do A. If it's negative, it's a reflection of your x-axis. If it's greater than 1, it's a vertical stretch. If it's less than 1, it's a vertical compression. H on the inside, I just said this, but I'm just going to write it out. H, if it's positive, it's to the left. I always have to think because it's opposite of what you think. Positive is left, negative is right. And people on the inside lie to you, like jail, they're going to lie to you. So on the inside, if it's a positive, it's actually going left. On the outside, positive is up, negative is down. So to do this question, you'll say y equals A vertical stretch of 4 is at A, H, or K. So vertical stretch, if you look at these descriptions, vertical stretch is A. So for A, I'm just going to plug in a 4. You always have Y and an X, and it's squared because it's a quadratic, and it tells you to square them. And then it says down 5, 5 units down. So H is left and right. So we don't need an H. That's just going to go away because that's left and right. So H is just going to go away. And down 5 is on the outside 5. Down negative, so minus 5. And then, of course, check your answer by graphing it. Make sure that down, if you put it, so 4x squared is a vertical stretch because it made it thinner. If you had thought maybe down 5 would be minus 5 here, you can see that moved it to the right, so that's not your answer. So on the outside, minus 5. And then moved it down 5. So, all right, last one. And all of this writing right here is what this says. I just think it looks a little bit more complicated. So last one, y equals reflection over the x-axis. That makes a negative. So instead of a, I'm going to put a negative. Or you can put a negative 1. It just has to be negative. Then translated left 7. So 7 is going to be on the inside of your parentheses. Left is positive. And up 1. So up 1 plus 1. Outside is up and down. And then check your answer.